Hello, everyone, and welcome to another. Oh my god, episode of Three Dads on a Console. We know not every dad can stay up to date and make sure that you are live on YouTube.com/Three Dads on a Console. That you need to know. So we're here to do it for you. And remember that this show is kid friendly, not always tech friendly. So no earmuffs are needed. Now on with the show. I'm one of your hosts, Waba Pez, alongside once again Court. Hello.
Waba Pez.
Yeah, well, I'm doing
Isn't
his
he
job
playing like
today.
pinball right now? He's like playing his
He's
Ghostbusters.
he's playing Burger Time. He's doing all the things I want to be doing. He's
But
sending us
originally he said
pictures
he
of
was
his
on a
low
plane
scores.
right now, so like I feel like we got lied to.
Well, it is funny because I forgot he was away, and so he's like, "You're gonna have to run it." I go, "Okay, can you send me the template?" He's like, "Brother, I'm in Oregon." Like, huh?
Well,
Okay.
I'm not gonna. So backstory to this, Matt. He told us a couple times he was going to be away, but Waba bypasses this. There was not too long ago, a couple months ago, where Pez and I are waiting and waiting and we're waiting, and we're like, "Where the heck is Waba?" And we're like, "Well, I guess we'll start the show." And then we message him on our. We have a group chat, and Waba's like, "I'm away, guys."
Yep.
And we're like, "Were you gonna tell us?" He's like, "I just did." I'm like, "Okay, all
Oh, okay, sure.
right,
Good to know.
People
okay."
feared others because they spoke the truth, as did I.
Oh,
So it is written, so it shall be. We are also here with our friend Matt from Console Creatures. Hello.
What's up, guy?
but why though?
From both.
From both.
Because we are stranded, deathly stranded.
Wow.
Ooh, Electric Boogaloo. I put that in. That's the name, right? Because I put that in the
Electric
channel
Boogaloo is pretty good. I like that.
That's a biblical name.
thing.
In fact, I haven't even heard Matt talk about this game because when we recorded our episode of PlayStation Generation, all Matt could be like is, "I played it.
That's all the
I,
things that I
I
could
played
say.
it." All
But
I
now,
know is Matt's posted pretty pictures, and that's all I know about the game.
now I can say much more. Now I can say now the dam has broken. The information has flooded out. I can say that I finished it. Finished it in about 30 hours. That's mostly mainlining it with some side content that, and I did go back in to clean up more after I rolled credits. The game's fantastic. I loved it. If you liked the original Death Stranding, you're going to love this one. I know some people have said that if you didn't like the first one, you might like the second one. I still don't think that's true. I,
I
I,
think
I like
I think I take your review over anybody else's.
the there is a lot more combat. It's much more Metal Gear
Metal Gear.
Metal Geary than it was the first time around. But everything that made the first one special is still very much there. It's just that the pacing's a lot better now. The story kind of kicks off right from the get-go and doesn't really slow down. I was much more connected to the story this time around as a dad. I will say that. Now, Court, the dad moments have definitely been hitting me more and more, as you said that they would be. So as a father, the story resonated with me much more this time around. Um, the combat is great. It is used much more to like as in between pacing mechanisms between the longer treks from point A to point B.
So the
Those
treks are still there.
100%. They're still very much like the DNA of the game. I will say though, vehicles are you get them much earlier this time, and they're much more viable as like across the board. So I would say probably 70 to 80% of my deliveries in vehicles the entire time, if not most of the time. Because I was just like, crafty with the ways that I was going and picking my routes so I knew that I could drive through it. Like I said, combat is much more expanded. You have a much bigger arsenal across like different guns, different like you have like a boomerang knife that you can like sever BTs before they even come at you. There's a lot of cool stuff on the
Boomerang.
a boomerang. On the flip side, if you want to do stealth, you have a much bigger stealth thing. You have like smoke grenades, you have like decoy hologram grenades. There's a lot more. You basically walk into a situation, there's three options that you can take out of it. You can either go A, take like the long way around fighting through like harsher terrain to get to the other side of it and avoid the enemies entirely. You could B, go in guns blazing, which is again completely viable given the amount of combat options that you have, or C, stealth your way classic Metal Gear style and like take out enemy by enemy tracking patrols and doing all that stuff. Any one of those three works, and the game responds to the way that you play. So like if you want more skills or like more like upgrades that are going to help you with stealth, you get that by playing stealthily. It's not like there's like a traditional tree, like skill or upgrade tree. Those things you're given the upgrades as you hone in on those specific skills more. So it's like it very much responds to the way that you play. The story, I would probably say is Kojima's most accessible. I actually understood what was going on like 80% of the time, and then in the
Wow.
and
Ow.
I know I'm saying I've watched so many like deep dives on the original, like literally like 3 hour long lore explanation videos and stuff on the original, in the last leading up to this game. If you understand the first one enough, this one makes total sense. And even if you don't, it does a good enough job of telling you what's going on up until the last like 30% of the game. When it's Kojima, it goes completely sideways, and I was literally like, I need someone smarter than me to tell me what I just witnessed, because it's not going to be me explaining this to people.
He couldn't help himself.
Couldn't
He
help
almost made it.
he was so close. Despite that, I think one of his best stories, genuinely, if not his best, the one that I resonated with the most.
Interesting.
Um, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like it. Yep.
If Metal Gear, the last Metal Gear he did,
Mhm.
but he only really did half of it, let's be honest.
Oh.
That story originally was like, whoa. And then it just jumps the shark when you know he's no longer a part of it. You think better I wouldn't say storytelling, because I think he's very good at developing a story. Do you think better story development from that Metal Gear? Because Death Stranding 1, I thought it was just a
Death Stranding
disaster.
1 is some of his most dense work. Like truly, I barely understood what was going on most of the time.
Abstract.
This Yeah, the sequel benefits in that it's now the second entry, so a lot of the groundwork is laid. So like if you go and watch like a recap video or whatever, to just get like the bare points of like what are the BTs, what are the beaches, what did Sam do in the first game around, like that's kind of enough to get that groundwork, because where he takes the story next is actually much more human and less ridiculous. um it's truly, I think, his most personal story. Metal Gear, say what you will, but I have always found those stories like, I don't know, like the zaniest 80s spy movies, right? They're
That's why I
not,
love him, dude.
and again, I'm not saying that they're bad, but I don't think that they're very accessible. And again, he uses that as a formula and then goes completely sideways in a way that only Kojima can, right? They're ridiculous, they're bombastic in every stretch of the word.
Bombastic.
Death Stranding 2 is not that until it is, but most of the time it is relatively grounded. It's pretty human. It's set on, on Sam and the characters that are around him. There's like the ship that you spend a majority of the game on, called the DHV Magellan, where like the rest of the cast is like always there. It almost feels like Mass Effect.
Oh, I
Like,
was gonna say that's massive.
Interesting.
Yeah, I
yeah,
like that.
where
So
like
unlike the first one where you're pretty much there by yourself the whole time.
Exactly. The first one is a much more solitary experience. You still get those moments when you're going on these longer treks, but this game is much more alive all of the time. There's even like a social system, like a Facebooky type thing, where like you're getting pictures from the rest of the team. You're getting little updates about stuff, even like as you're out and about. They're talking to you. There's like Doll Man, which is this little doll. There's basically like a person's soul got stuck in a doll, and like, what was his name?
Yeah, because that's the thing.
I
Mimir
hate that.
from God of War,
Hmm.
like the talking head on your clip, he basically functions in the same way, and he's fantastic. Like you can have like conversations with him. He almost acts like a little therapist, like that, like in your room, and they're genuinely really engaging
So
and
it's
fun
almost
to
like
listen to.
Kojima was like, I really like that when I played the game. You know what? I got to figure out a way to put that in the game.
Exactly. So like there's a lot of stuff that he does, and I feel like the story is much more built on like reveals and twists and like, oh, I didn't see that coming.
Interesting
Like,
reveals and I like that.
yes. And there are things that like you're like, why wasn't that explained? That seems like something we should know, and it becomes clear later. But again, like it's not his usual like, oh, I'm actually like the clone of a clone of your brother whose mother was like, it's like that's Kojima's usual shtick. This is much less that and much more personal and built around these relationships and built around these characters in a way that like is digestible without losing that like Kojima weirdness to it, in my opinion.
No, no. Like I said,
I'm now excited for a game I didn't care about.
I will
That's
say this:
crazy.
the amount of times you told me to buy a game and then I don't like it, and then you got to like know how I play a game or how I like a game. The amount of times I'm like, oh, I might buy a game, and then Matt's like, I don't think you should. I don't think you should
And
buy this
still
game.
undecided if you should play this or not.
Really, eh?
To be truly
Well,
honest,
how is the soundtrack? Because I'll get. You just
fantastic,
told me how. Okay, is it as
fantastic.
good as Death Stranding 1? Because Death Stranding
Yes,
1 had like just even the opening was just like wow.
as good if not better, in my
Okay,
opinion.
graphically, what are the settings and
Stunning, stunning. Playing on the PS5 Pro, like it's genuinely photorealistic at points in its environment. It's running on Decima, so like it's
so
imagine if everything that was good about Horizon is just better now. Like the facial animations and the way that like even like environments are spectacular. Like there's this like reel of like environmental clips as you kind of start the game that's like, Fragile's talking over it, she's setting the scene, and it's taking you through a number of these like just like geographical areas. If you took everything off and just literally showed me these clips, I'd believe that these are real environments, that this isn't from a video game. Playing on the PS5 Pro, I'm sure it's hitting 4K 60. Like it looks stunning. And then like even the character
Hmm.
models are probably some of the most lifelike that I've seen
So
without
crazier than
becoming
this Horizon.
yes, without becoming Uncanny Valley. I think Horizon has moments where it almost becomes Uncanny Valley like.
It did.
Like Aloy, like it's something about the way that she animates and even just like her proportions,
Like
like
there's
her
like a shine
eyes.
in it. Sometimes there's
Yes.
a shine.
Yeah.
Except in Horizon Call of the Mountain, I thought that was the best character design we've seen. Even
Yeah.
though no one plays PSVR 2, I thought it is unbelievable how good the characters looked in that.
Yeah. This looks even better. Like they feel like you can see like the leatheriness to Sam's skin, like the way that he like emotes and just like slight facial things that you would have never caught the first time around. You see these things now. And like again, the way that he plays with color, the sandstorms, there's like different environmental things now. So like sometimes when you're walking, if you're in a desert or in a very like dry area, there'll be this massive sandstorm rolls in that you can see coming from like miles away, and you can just see it getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then as it completely like washes over you, everything almost becomes like red and washed out. Like you can't see 2 feet in front of your face. Sometimes there's like lightning crackling down in front of you. Like it looks insane. Like visibility drops to nothing. Like you're really trying to just get through this thing with whatever you can and whatever little bits of visibility that you have. You're just trying to desperately make it through. It's like it's probably my number 2 for the year.
I was
expedition
gonna
Thir-
ask you, so
Ex-
Expedition 33 still there.
Expedition 33 still takes my number 1 slot because
If that's your game. That's a
I was
that's a
that,
mad ass game.
it's a mad ass.
Weeb,
Yeah,
weeb.
it
Yeah,
is
yeah,
a
yeah.
I'm,
It's
I
a
mean,
mad ass game.
my copy's coming next month. Come on.
yeah, dude. Yeah, like that is a mad ass game. Death Stranding 2, I think surpassed the expectations that I had for it. I knew it was going to be good, and like the first one, I didn't love it the first time that I tried to play it. Played it for like 5 or 10 hours, fell off. Went back in with the director's cut, and that's when it really clicked for me, and I really went all in, and was going into lore dives online and doing all this stuff. The second one grabs you immediately and does not
Hmm.
let go. In my opinion. So like Death Stranding 2 is like genuinely fantastic. The one bit of criticism that I have for it is the boss fights, because it's like they took all the feedback from the first game and then just ignored it. All of the
Oh.
problems that you would have had with
Let's
the boss.
go. No, I respect that.
Yeah.
They're standing on business. They're like, I don't care what you all think. I'm doing my thing.
Yeah, they just double down.
Yes.
There's like all this sludge that pops up that just makes moving around an environment already annoying. You like there are like you have like little quick steps and stuff to like dodge through like human enemies that like make Sam feel more agile. All of that is gone when you're in the boss fights, as you're like trudging through sludge. It doesn't matter how much stuff you have on your back. You're basically just like emptying out clips, throwing as many grenades as you can, trying to like dive out of the way, and he takes half an hour to stand back up because everything is wet and sludgy around him as the boss is trying to like wail on you, and then you kind of trudge around looking for more bits of ammo or more guns or more things, and then rinse and repeat while these like massive things are coming at you. They are spectacles. They are visually interesting, and there's a couple of them that are better than most, but every piece of criticism you could launch at the boss fights of the first game stand exactly the same here. So like if you liked the boss fights in the first one, you're going to like them here. If you didn't, there is nothing here that saves you. you have more guns and you have more grenades, and there are a couple things that are pretty cool that you can do, but it takes quite a long to get to those things, and I don't want to spoil them. But like, at their core, they remain entirely unchanged. So like, I think that's my one piece of criticism for it, is just that the boss fights still suck. Everything else is as good, if not better.
So the classic
Sounds like a
sequel
PlayStation Plus to
question.
me. But hey, go.
No, classic sequel question. I know you said they kind of give you a little bit of an overview, but do you need to play the first one to enjoy this one?
Yes. I genuinely think that what they do with the story and where they take the story, it's like, but I have this thing where, like, I genuinely believe 9 times out of a 10, if you're playing a numbered sequel, you need to have played the ones before for it to truly land. Stuff like Final Fantasy, whatever. There's no continuation of story, that doesn't matter. But with Death Stranding, I even say the same things with like the Uncharted's. These character relationships are fundamental to understanding why, when things happen, why they're important, or why they have impact. If you lack that, I would at least tell people, like, there was like literally like a 2.5 hour like story recap, like lore explain thing that I watched like leading up to this. Like, I would at least encourage you. They have like a story so far thing in the game that's like 6 or 7 minutes long. That's like a quick recap. I don't think that does it justice, honestly, because again, there's some really heady ideas and some really out there things that like you need to understand. Otherwise, heading into the second game, things just won't make as much sense. So I do think you need to play it. And if you're not going to play it, I do think you should watch a YouTube video to understand what all of this is. Because if you just go into this not knowing anything, it is not going to have the same impact, in my opinion.
So last question.
Yeah.
Death Stranding 1
Mm.
sold 20 million copies.
Mm.
But it also sold 20 million copies because it was released on PS4,
Mhm.
re-released on PS5,
Mhm.
director's cut, which counts, and then also released on PC.
Mhm.
Does Death Stranding 2, 1, be a commercial success at launch?
Mhm.
2, beat that?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so, because
Wow.
I think that PS5 install base is already huge. I think people regardless of what point in the Death Stranding life cycle someone were to buy in and enjoy their experience, they are now ready for two. Right? Like
Mm.
like, regardless if they played Death Stranding on launch day or 5 years after, if you enjoyed it, you're going to be now looking forward to the sequel. Kojima's name still has impact, still pulls people in, right? So I think that there's a lot of people who will buy in on this, and I think that number will only continue to climb after it does eventually, I'm guessing in a year from now, come to PC. We've seen PlayStation, like Stellar Blade had crazy numbers on PC, like over 150,000, Steam concurrents for a single player game, right? Like that's pretty wild.
We all know. We all know why it did well on the PC. We're not gonna go into it, but we all know.
But listen, you can I do you know how many times I bathed Sam? You know, there's
My
that.
brother right now is loving Stellar Blade on PC.
Yeah,
I,
Loving. And
I
fantastic.
bet. I bet he
you know,
is.
but no. I'll read you this. And I think Matt, because my brother likes the same kind of games as Matt. So this is what my brother said about graphic looks fantastic on PC, which is a credit to the team working on it. I said earlier that they optimize insanely good. It's it's on id software levels of optimization. Even the details cranked from the power for far apart with my card should be capable of. Like, he put it on full and he said it was unbelievable. Pushes my GPU to 95% and the memory the same. By comparison, most games like this run GPU high 99%, but only utilize between 80 and 90% of the things. Overall, it's a pretty good game so far. I don't think it needs to be overly. They don't need it to overly sexualize the characters, and it thinks that takes from the game.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah, because I thought Stellar Blade when I played it on I was like, man, the combat. Matt was actually shocked.
Gameplay
He's
was
like, the
fine. Yeah.
combat was fantastic, but I was like, I couldn't play it in front of my daughter, so I didn't like playing it.
Yeah.
I felt
So
like a pervert playing the game.
a little bit, a little bit. Um, but yeah, no, I
I've
do think
never.
Death Stranding 2 will have legs, and I do think it will be a success. I have no doubt in my mind that it'll probably sell better lifetime than the original.
Interesting.
Yep,
Better.
it has a lot of buzz
It,
behind it now too. So I mean,
it will not be stranded.
it will
Do
It
not
will
you?
be
And
be.
stranded.
now, actually, one more question.
Hmm.
Does it release on Xbox?
Hmm. Did the first one go to it?
That's what I was about to check.
The
That's what I was
first one
about
went
to
on
ask.
Game Pass for
Did it?
PC. For PC, it did.
Oh, for PC. Oh.
It did.
Apparently, it was on Series X and S as well.
Really?
Mhm.
Maybe you
Yep.
can play it on the Xbox handheld.
You probably could. Nah, maybe. Yeah, I think it depends on how much PlayStation wants to play nice. I think with Kojima Productions, I do probably think that Kojima wants it everywhere eventually. I'm sure they're not a true first party, right? It's a deal that
Correct.
they have, so I can see it coming, especially if the first one did. Um, I think probably a year to 2 years from now, I think it'll. I think PC is a lock. Xbox, I can see it happen. Whether it'll be Game Pass or not, I don't know, but I can see it coming. But yeah, the game's fantastic.
Well, you
Real
heard it
good
here,
time.
people. It has Matt's seal of approval. So that means if you are like Waba and you're a big dweeb, you will love this game.
Lots of love.
So, I will say, as soon as you said, like, you were talking about it, and I thought Mass Effect 2, and then you literally spoke those words into existence. I never got into
Don't
Mass
compare
Effect.
the
I got
two.
into Mass Effect 2 first.
Don't
Mhm.
compare the
So once you say that, and then I went and played it back in one. It was good, but it wasn't as good. But it made the second and thoughts on third, whatever, made the third worth it in my opinion. I
Third's
liked it.
good. Stop it with this. Stop.
I wasn't. I was playing it right here where my desk was when they had to redo it. I was fine with the first ending, but I will say that got me excited. You have a crew, you have stuff like that. I kind of like that idea. I don't know. This wasn't a game on my radar, but you've gotten me excited about it. And
Wow, Matt,
I know.
I want to follow this up. He has now played Spider-Man 2.
No, I haven't played Spider-Man 1. I played Spider-Man on PS2 though, so
See?
I feel like
Not
I've already
disgusting
played. I've
with
already
me,
played
Matt.
the first one.
I have to deal with this on a regular basis.
I'm too busy murking fools in Hearthstone Playground. I'm too busy prepping for Outright Games Gabby's Dollhouse, which we're going to talk about next week. That last week I said that would be perfect, and they're coming out with it. Let's go. Legitimately excited for that. That's what I'm in for.
Pop off.
That's right. And
Spider-Man 1 and
that's
2
it.
are masterpieces of combat and
I
storytelling.
agree. I agree.
Have you
I'm
played
just-
God of War Ragnarok, Waba?
I haven't played the new God of War for PlayStation.
Have you played
The
The
one
Last of Us?
1
and 2 I did.
Oh, look at them.
The weird
Hold
thing
on,
is
wait,
I
wait,
own
wait.
a lot of these games.
Wait. Which one did you like more?
Oh, I like 1.
Yeah. And
I
didn't
so
even
I,
preface
I
that.
liked the story of 1 more because I like some of the characters more. Also, it took place in Boston,
Hey.
which I will say that's very cool to see, like landmarks that I know
Fair.
very well. I
Sure.
like when they do it. That even Fallout 4, that's one of my favorite Fallouts
Dude,
because
he wouldn't
I'm
stop
walking
talking
down
about the
unmarked
Fenway
streets.
Park part in Fallout 4.
Yeah. Well, not just that, but like the also the two the lake.
Yes.
Like you had like the swan, like the mutant with swan. I'm like, I used to ride swan boats with my grandfather, and he's using them as armor now. Crazy. But I have a lot of these games. I'm looking at them right next to games like Sakura Wars that I need to play. So toughest challenges goes to the strongest warriors, and I got my hands full.
You got to. I'm like literally counting the hours before the Persona 5 mobile gotcha goes live, and that's where I'm about to lose a lot of time and money.
Speaking of mobile gotchas, I have literally
Persona
saved
X.
my packs for today so that because I know that they read my pack will regenerate at 8 a.m. But I saved my pack today so that I can open it tomorrow morning to get the extra EV pack and open 2 first thing in the morning. Buddy. And
Look
I
at that
have enough for
min-maxing.
10. Once I can open my second pack, I can rip 10 packs.
Mm.
So I'm going to be able to open 12 packs first thing in the morning of the new EV set. And Emma is so excited that I bought her the season's pass so that she can open double the packs just for this set.
Yeah.
I had to. I could
I mean,
not
come
do
on.
it.
As soon as I saw that trailer, I was like, Emma needs to know. This
So,
needs
like-
to be in Emma's life expeditiously.
So I didn't tell her. So then she turned on the app this morning and she's like, goes through because I can do it through my Nintendo account. And she opens up the app and she looks at me and she goes, Daddy, I have a second thingy. And I was like, what? She goes, what's this owl? And I was like, go up into your presents. And then she gets the cards and she's like, oh my. And all of a sudden she's getting all these out. She's like, Daddy, I'm like, you're welcome only for this month. I said, only for 1 month. You get it for a month. You can, whatever it gives you. Hopefully they give you an EV card in the next, but you get it for a month. You're going to get double the packs and you can get this EV set real quick.
Yep.
So, dude,
She's gonna rip through it.
every pack, you're going to rip. It's just, I think it'll be one of the most popular sets they put out in a while.
Probably.
Because the last
I'm-
set was meh.
I'm still mad at the set before.
I've got them all. I've caught.
I'm like still like 20 something cards away. My luck
Of what
oh,
set?
the Solgaleo and Lunala one.
Dude, I've been opening those. So Emma, I have so many.
How
That's all
far
I've been
behind
opening
am
for
I?
the last month. Because
The
I finished that
Celestial,
other set.
Celestial Guardians.
So I
It's
finished
driving
the.
me insane, dude.
Okay, so what do you need? I got everything.
Is that the Arceus one?
No, that's the
No.
Solgaleo and the Lunala one.
Bat.
The
I can
bat
hook
and the
you.
lion.
I can hook you up, bro.
Dude, I'd have to go through and like figure out what I need because like I've still been ripping those. I'm literally like 20 cards away still. It's probably
So
like the
I've
worst
been
hit rates
ripping
I've
those
had.
since I sent you saying I finished the new set. So since
Mm-hmm.
I finished extra dimensional crisis, all I've been doing is opening those so that because Emma needs a bunch of those cards. So I just been opening them. I have doubles of like everything in that set.
I need like so many just like base cards, and like every time I open up a pack, they're like, "Hey, you want 5 cards? 3 of which will be the same from cards you already have." We know there's still like 20 of these you need. We're
Do
not
you
gonna
need
give you
the
any of them.
Passamini X, the monkey guy with the X?
Probably
I have it. Doubles.
the
Monkey guy
Passimian.
EX, I have it. Passamini EX. I also have no, I only have one of those. Because usually my issue is EXs.
Yeah, no, usually me too, but I need the Crabominable EX, the big crab.
What one's
The
that? Is
angel.
that a red?
No, it's a blue.
It's
It
a
is a
blue.
red. It is a red, but it's a water card.
Uh,
It's a giant white crab. It
what?
looks like a yeti.
I only have the one. I gave. So Emma has two.
I love the
I can
description.
get, so I can get Emma to trade you that. She has two.
I need the Alolan Muck EX.
I only have one of that. She has all the EXs. What other do you need? Like what regular cards do you need?
Oh, I need so many, dude. We're gonna
Okay,
this could literally
we'll
be
talk. This
yeah,
is
this could
this is
literally be the
terrible
entire
content.
podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say this is terrible content because I have.
So I know.
I have every card.
So we
Every
were talking about
card.
whether or not Death Stranding will be on Game Pass, but as Cord pointed out before the show, there are some good things coming to the other service, to PlayStation Plus.
Like what, Waba?
That's a good question. I can't open the article because I'm got Discord sharing on the YouTube. So
Oh, okay.
Court.
I can open it.
I literally can't. I didn't plan.
Are we talking about PlayStation Plus monthly games for
Yeah.
July? Because they might be Diablo 4 coming to PS5 and PS4. It might
Good
be
guess.
the King of Fighters 15 on PS5 and PS4, and it
Yeah.
might be Jusant on PS5.
Launch trailer, yes. Written by Dennis Price from Console Creatures.
Woo!
Big D.
So
I think that's a pretty decent lineup. I already had Diablo, but I would say value-wise, and I'll say this again.
Yep.
For the people that didn't buy this game, that is a value purchase, that game. That
Mhm.
is a beefy boy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a
Cross-play
lot to
and
play.
cross-progression too. So even if you have it somewhere else, just another way to play.
That's huge. You could be playing on your Steam Deck because everybody loves that darn thing.
right.
You could be playing on your Xbox. You could, yeah, Matt loves his Steam Deck. You could literally play. I just think that's a lot of game, and I think that's good value.
I mean, I still, Diablo 4 wasn't my thing, which is wild because I went all in on 2 and the 2 remaster. Just because I don't think console's the way to play it. It still baffles me how people can play that game on console, and I'm not saying, like, if you can, I'm happy. It just, for me, that is a PC game. You just need, the macros, the fingies. I don't know how you play it on console, and maybe that's a skill issue. Probably is. King of Fighter.
I never played it on PC, so for me.
So if you don't know going in, yeah.
That's what I'm saying, right? I only ever played it on console. So from even like 3, I played all of 3 on console with friends, split screen. So like I never knew.
Split screen.
Yeah, dude.
Can I also add that this is a Xbox game? And this
Isn't
is not like this is
Xbox game.
This is like the third Xbox game lately coming to the service.
They play nice.
Uh-oh.
They play
Playing nice is an understatement. I think Xbox is playing like, here you go. Like a game, I think this is my theory, because so far Matt and I have been very right on these theories, so I'm just going to throw one out here. I think they have a 3-month window when they're on Game Pass, and then after those 3 months, they'll put it on PlayStation Plus every single time.
Does Diablo 4 have any sort of
Diablo 4 has been out for a year.
DLC?
More than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it have like extra characters and
it's
stuff?
a whole expansion.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
not
that's what-
included,
yeah, the
obviously.
expansion.
But like,
but
Well,
it's on sale.
it's a good way to get people to
You
spend
have
money on
to.
it. Yeah.
Well, because I mean, again, I played a lot of Diablo 2 as soon as like the Bale, the expansion came out. You literally had to play it, and it separates the player base too.
Mhm.
Like you can't just like you can't just do the game anymore. You have to do Bale. You have to do Bale runs if you don't know that. But so this is like if you want to get in Diablo 4, you're gonna hook them, and then they have to buy the expansion. And honestly, getting into that PlayStation player base is probably what they're trying to do. The full game is already like if you bought Diablo, you bought Diablo. No one's picking up Diablo in the year of our Lord 2025 at retail, for funsies.
Because
I
Diablo,
don't think you
Getting
buy
into it for
any
free, yeah.
game a year later at
Yeah.
full price.
Diablo 4 is
Yeah.
like literally 2 years old at this point, so it's like
Yeah.
it's time.
Oh yeah, we were at
Crazy.
Carpill at the time.
Mm-hmm.
He's forever going
June
at launch.
1st, 2023. So
But when did it come to Game Pass? It didn't. It only came to Game Pass like a year ago. Oh no, wasn't this one of the first games to ever come to Game Pass? I think it was.
That was the launch
Or
one.
part of that deal. I think it was. It's day and date on Game Pass. Never mind. It was. All right, my theory's out the window. It's just that's so weird that we've gotten
yeah,
so
but that was still peak. Like Xbox is still Xbox. We're committed to blah 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 blah
they
blah.
ain't
I feel
committed
like
to any,
I
we
feel
could
like
get
moving
to that. They
forward.
ain't committed to anything. Literally, even their employees. But um
There's no more
foreshadowing.
money to be made in Diablo unless you put it on a
And
console with a higher
but
player
this,
base and
Matt,
sell them
this
the
is what gets
expansion.
me about like I'm still playing Forza Horizon. I think that game is great, but it was only $50. So
Sorry,
yeah.
I'm just gonna interject here. So Diablo 4 came out June 2nd, 2023. Hit Game Pass March 28th, 2024. So like 8-ish months later.
Oh, the theory
Oh.
continues.
But this was the first Activision Blizzard game to join the service after the acquisition went through. So
So
it
my
came out.
theory.
It came out in the midst of all of the things happening. Still, that was still the
Okay.
era of like,
Okay.
oh my god, is Microsoft gonna buy Activision Blizzard? Who knows? Please, let's talk about this. 700 episodes. Um, so this was the first one that actually joined after
And,
everything went through.
and don't worry, we are not going to talk about PlayStation buying Warner Brothers because I don't want to talk about it because that's just makes that literally what Matt just said makes me reminded that if PlayStation buy Warner Brothers, cool,
We'll talk about it then.
exactly. But
Big
maybe my
Bugs Bunny
theory is
fans.
more in this skew. Every single Xbox first party game that is on PlayStation will eventually come to PlayStation Plus.
I'd be curious. I think if like Sea of Thieves were to hit, I think that would start to be like
The whole
a.
catalog is almost there now.
But that's well, I mean, yeah, that's still like the third party esque side of it. If something like Sea of Thieves comes, I think that's or like a Pentiment or even like a Hi-Fi Rush. Then
No
I'll
one
think
wants
we're.
Pentiment.
I'm just saying if those come,
People would be
all
pissed if
all
that was the
seven
game.
people who liked
Pissed.
Pentiment, myself included,
Yeah.
I think that's when I think we'll start to see more of an actual push. But I'm
I
curious.
swear to God, my hatred for Pentiment meant Xbox Canada was like, yeah, we're no longer talking to this guy.
I cannot believe that you played that game because that is not a you game at all.
Not
Oh
a
my
court game.
God, I almost
And
fell asleep while playing it.
I loved it.
Yeah, you know what? If I want to read a book, I'll just read a book.
Yeah, but it's not an old English.
Mm-hmm. Nor do you make choices through said book.
Right.
I could get a choose your own adventure any day of the
Yeah,
week.
go get a Goosebumps.
Go get a mad.
My daughter just got into choose your own adventure books, and she thinks they're the greatest thing ever.
Go get a Mad Libs. You can do one of those
Well,
while you're at
I
it.
could do those. But I just look at the amount of games from the Xbox catalog that are hitting the service. It's almost like if you're a Ubisoft game or an Xbox game and you're a PlayStation player and you don't need it day one, wait, because eventually it'll hit the service. Like I really want to buy Indiana Jones. I bought Forza because I talked about it and I was like going hum and han and I was like, one is $50 and the other one is still on sale, but it's still $80. I'm like, that's not a deal. I'm like, eventually the DLC for Forza is going to be like free and I can get it for like $20. It's $50 on sale right now. I know it'll eventually be $20, but I still haven't finished the game, so it doesn't matter. But Indiana Jones, they're still trying to sell it at a very high price point,
For sure.
and I'm not buying it at that. I'll buy it at $50 any day of the week, but not a chance at $80. This is not going to happen. That's how
It's
much
okay.
video. So, like you people in the US, Waba, that are complaining, that's what video games cost for us.
It's okay. You can just wait and buy the outer. You like the Outer Worlds, didn't you?
Yes,
Well,
100%.
you can just wait and buy the second one for like 110 Canadian dollars.
What the F? Like all these games are ridiculous. I'll go to the PlayStation Store right now and I'll look up new games because people in the US are complaining about the price of video games.
That's why I wait 5 to 6 years before I
I
play a
have
game.
become that guy. Like
But I buy it right away. I just don't play it.
I truly have become that guy.
It's really the worst of both worlds.
So what I'm excited to play is I took my Xbox, I put it in the closet because I wasn't using it. I've replaced it with my PS3, and I'm gonna play Blitz the League 2, which I cannot emulate.
As
Like-
you should.
Ghost of Yote, which I'm definitely gonna buy on day one. Like there's nothing I can do about that. Is $89.99 and they say it's like a smaller game. $89.99.
It's not a smaller game. It's like the next proper sequel.
Okay. So $89.99.
But
And then
I guarantee you that PlayStation's going to start raising those prices probably after that one to follow suit with Nintendo and Xbox. I'd be shocked.
Yeah,
if
there's
they
no
didn't.
way that they're gonna. There's no way they're. You're right. Like Call of Duty. I mean, Grand Theft Auto is gonna be.
Oh my gosh!
That will be the first $200 game.
I was gonna say put a $200 price tag on it
$200
and just see what
Not
happens.
that,
Then-
I'm talking about the super
The
duper
Ultra
edition.
Deluxe. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I feel you.
no, sell the base for it. Let people sweat and get FOMO
No,
and pick it
I
up a
think the
week
base
later.
Will be that $110 price tag that Matt's talking about. I think for sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if that hit at 100 US.
Why not? I mean, people are gonna buy it. Why not? If they play one game all year and they play that,
I'm shocked.
Instead of buying, like,
Borderlands
3
is
other
only
ones?
at $89.99. Oh, did you guys hear about the Borderlands
I thought it was
del-
more.
collector's edition doesn't come with the actual game?
it's that I think that's happened before.
Did you see
Yeah.
that? It
The
doesn't even come
special
with the-
editions that don't.
Doesn't even come
There's-
with the game.
PlayStation's done that. I can't remember if it was.
Oh,
one of the
Wolfenstein did it. Wolfenstein did
Oh,
it too.
Matt?
I remember that.
Matt, what do you think the super deluxe is for Borderlands?
189.
Oh, I don't doubt
Oh.
it's like 100 something, 150.
Keep going.
Huh?
It's almost at what we just talked about.
179.
200.
172.
That's so
Disgusting.
close.
That is gross. And it comes with the game, the Gilded Glory Pack, Firehawk's Fury Weapon Skin, a
course.
Bounty Pack, a Vault Hunter Pack. Are you
So-
kidding me?
Here's something funny for you. Apparently, because I was like, I could have sworn there was a lot of like online controversy because Borderlands 4 was supposed to be more, because apparently like a couple weeks ago they said that it was going to be 80 US, which would have hit it at that 110 price point here, and then the online backlash was so volatile that they decided to drop it back to the 69.99 US, which brings it in line with the norm.
That rocked.
Oh, but like, I can't believe what I just explained to you as the extra edition are just like vault packs. Like those are nothing.
Dude, I don't even bother with any of those.
I haven't got a super duper unless it's giving me the seasons pass to get me all the DLC when it comes out. Like when I looked at Assassin's Creed, like that made sense to me. I'm like, okay, well that just means I get all the DLC every time, and I'm like, okay, perfect, no problem. I'm okay with that. But when you're giving me skins and weapons and stuff like that, you're insulting my intelligence.
Yeah, that's why I don't bother.
I have
Unless your name's Persona.
Even in Persona, though, the Atlas is one of the worst. The amount of like skins and like background music that they charge you like literally an arm and a leg for could never be me. I would never buy one of those deluxe editions because they are never worth it.
Oh, I get the ones with the bags. I get the ones with the cat. I get the DLC. I got my folks dressing up like Catherine, thing.
Wawa,
I don't
how
even
much do you
care.
think
I am
EA
so in.
charges
I
you?
get Persona 4 on the Vita, before like the dancing all night.
Yeah,
Literally anything
Wawa,
that they put out for Persona,
what do
I
you
will
think
purchase
EA
it.
is charging for college football, a yearly title that is just a roster update?
Oh, $79.99.
Nope. In Canada,
Oh, 80 would be $89.99, which I would say is a great deal.
$133.49.
you're a
Oh, but
liar
you're
for
losing
base
money not getting it. Are you? What a bargain, guys!
or for the
But or for
deluxe
the isn't it for the Madden edition?
The deluxe
Two?
edition.
Oh, the bargain!
No,
2 games for one.
Hold on. Waba, there's an MVP bundle.
Yeah,
What do you think the super duper edition is?
reasonable. Whatever you're about to say.
$179.99.
What? It's like,
Why not?
Are
how
Why
could
not?
you not?
In for a penny, in
effing-
for a pound.
It comes with Madden 26, because that's needed.
Thank
Yep.
God I don't like sports games.
3 days early access.
Yep.
46,000 Madden points for a game that is a
That's like for $30 worth right there.
cover
That's
athlete
really fast
item.
conversion.
Hold on. Cover athlete item.
Yes.
College football 26 deluxe and 4,600 CUT points.
Yeah.
And more, it says.
And
That's
more.
all.
It could be anything. It could even be another game.
It's gotten, you know what? I was going to talk about the Xbox layoffs, but this brings me to the Xbox layoffs. How the heck are we laying off people like Xbox is, even though they're laying off people because of bad decisions and the quarter's about to end, so they're just trying to make stockholders more rich? That's what screws people over. They don't care about you. They care about the stockholders. How is it that they can charge this much for video games, especially deluxe editions, when really they're just charging you, the game's already made. They're just charging for this extra digital thing that doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't exist.
Is there a problem with the games industry and the cost of video games right now? I understand if you look at inflation, the cost of the game is the same as what it should have been in the 80s. I'm not talking about the base game. You know what? If the developer needs their money back, I totally get that. I'm talking about these deluxe editions that are not DLC, not extending the playtime of the game. They're just giving you skins and these things that are not really needed.
Well, it's all really like nebulously priced. Like they just kind of throw a number down and they're like, yeah, we feel like, for an extra $30, this is what you get. The problem is that like the cost of video games has obviously risen slowly over the last 20 to 30 years. That's like, I mean, that is demonstrably so.
Mhm.
And now we're getting a number of big jumps in a very short amount of time, in a time when the world is already struggling. We're past the pandemic. There's a lot of people who never properly recovered, and wages have not gone up. Yes, video game development and everything, XYZ, marketing, blah, 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 budgets have gone up. All of these things are true. Games, I don't doubt, are more expensive to make now than they ever have been. But it's not like we're making any more as a general population to help offset these costs. What's going to end up happening is you're going to have people who, are already struggle to buy groceries, who may have been able to purchase, let's say, 3 to 4 full price games in a year, are now going to be priced out of the equation until they're only able to buy one, maybe two. So then you look at games, like you look at the, sales for a lot of these games are going to go down because people are going to have to start making choices. And it's this weird, you know, effect of like the snake eating its own tail, where they're like, we're going to raise prices of our games. Not as many people are going to buy our games. Oh, our games aren't selling as well. So that means we're going to have to do layoffs, where people are going to lose their jobs. More people are going to get priced out of this industry, whether it's because they're not making any money in it, or they can't afford to buy games. Okay, so that means we have to raise the price of games because now we're not selling it. And it's a circular problem that doesn't get solved because, like you said, they want shareholders prices. Shareholders want their money back. Microsoft specifically has had a run of bad decisions on top of a massive acquisition, which again, I'm sure they will be paying for years to come. And even when all that was happening, good old Phil Spencer was like, guys, we're not going to do any layoffs. It's not going to happen. No layoffs for anybody here at Xbox. Not me, at least. And then, we've had
Well,
a
no,
number of
not
layoffs.
him.
No, that's what I'm saying. They've had a number of layoffs since. It's an issue where everybody is still chasing the whales, this like live service, monopoly that people all want the most amount of money. And it's like you hear it across everything. They want a game to be a time and money sink so that you spend all this time playing their game and not anybody else's. And it becomes this giant competition. And if games aren't selling, then what are they going to do but raise prices? It's like this weird back and forth decision. They're not going to drop prices, They're not going to give you more game for less money. Like it's an issue that is, I think, not just in video games, but also all of the socioeconomic factors that are affecting people are also now affecting video games, and it's this massive issue that I don't really see an easy fix for because I don't see how there is one.
So my question to the both of you: have video games become a luxury item?
Yes.
I don't. So I would say yes, asterisk. It just depends on what you want to play. Like there are so many good games that just aren't expensive, but the general, I would say this like
Now, but you're
the
talking about
general
games that
game.
are old though, Waba, because I
No, no,
believe
no.
you.
I'm talking about indie games.
Okay,
I'm
fair.
talking about like there are games coming out that are free by like single developers, and like yeah, if you want extra, like they charge like oh like if you want like a little bit more, you pay like $10 or whatever. Like here, this game's free. Donate to me if you liked it. Like if people kind of expanded their tastes instead of falling for the marketing, and I'm not saying marketing's not good, and I'm not saying the games that are marketed aren't good, but like just because a game reach out. So
It's interesting because I do think you're right. I do think indie is kind of the safe haven for the future of these. The problem is that a lot of the issue here is discoverability. If you're not plugged in online and you're missing, the discoverability for a lot of these shops across Nintendo and even PlayStation and Steam, wherever, there's so much volume there that you truly have to be something special to kind of break out of that and pray you go viral. For all of like my younger cousins and like the younger folk around, they're playing games like you said that don't even cost anything. Fortnite, Roblox, all of these things that are just monumental monoliths. Like I remember, like for Christmas, my cousin like we got him Fortnite E-Bucks. My brother got him Fortnite V-Bucks. Like he got Fortnite V-Bucks. Like he was like he was overjoyed. And I asked him, I'm like, have you spent them all? He's like, yeah, obviously. Like he burnt through
obviously,
that no problem.
and
So the
Chun Li
thing
just
is
came
like
back
these.
out. Obviously, I spent them.
So even these like $100 games are competing against games that don't cost anything.
Hmm.
So it's like indie games, I think for a lot of us who are plugged in and paying attention, I think your GTA's, your Call of Duties are going to be competing with your Fortnites and your Robloxes more so than anything else. And as to like ease of access is the bigger question here, right? I feel like in our day growing up, most people had a PC that could at least play something. You could, or things were kind of web based. We could all play RuneScape because you didn't need anything on your computer. You just needed your browser, right? I feel like that era of gaming is gone. Now, like even at the Switch, the original Switch, you could feasibly be on a budget and still be like a two Switch household. Each one of your kids could theoretically have one. Maybe not at the same time. Maybe they're Switch Lights, whatever, right? Nintendo's whole handheld strategy was always each kid should have one. The Switch 2, those days are gone. You know what I mean? Like you'd
Yeah,
have
it's
to
one per
be.
household now.
It's one
And
per
I think
household.
that's why they did that family stuff. Like they did all these things with it. They're like, you can play it on your Switch 1 and your Switch 2. Like, we
So
don't
that's
want you
what
to
I
get rid of
mean.
that thing.
Yeah. So it's like if you're a multi Switch 2 household, then yeah, you're probably not worried about where the next paycheck is coming from, or you're not worried about putting food on the table. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's an interesting situation where there is more free available for people to play, but that accessibility access of do I have the thing I need to play that thing? Is
Yeah.
my computer good enough, or is my phone good enough? XYZ, the barrier to entry still exists. It's just where are people playing and what are people playing on?
Yeah, because I saw an article that a bunch of games are leaving Apple Arcade, and a bunch of things are leaving Netflix games because it's not working for them.
Mhm.
I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. Apple is going to buy PlayStation, and that's just an eventuality, and it's just going to happen. And that's how Apple will get into the game. There's way too many synergies there. It
Hmm.
makes way too much sense. They
Yep.
continue to do partnerships together. You go to any Apple store, you could buy DualSense controllers. Like
The
let
design, even design, the design aesthetic is
yeah.
similar.
Oh yeah, it's way too many similarities with this thing. You now on Apple TV and the new Apple TV update that's coming out, there's gonna be the PlayStation remote. Like it's all there. It's coming. Like it is what it is. It's smart. Um, I just think until something like that happens, unfortunately, right now, video games are pricing themselves out. For perfect example, I'll use the Switch 2. I bought a Switch 2. I bought it for my daughter. Everybody that I know that all their kids have a Switch, I asked them. I was like, because I really like the Switch 2. I think it's great.
Same.
We've been playing it a lot as a family. Um, None of my friends were buying another one. They're like, I'm not buying it yet. Maybe at Christmas, but that thing is too expensive. That's what they all
Mhm.
said. Now, I don't think Mario Kart World is a system seller, unfortunately. Donkey Kong Bonanza that we were going to talk about, but we're running out of time. We're not going to. I don't think that's a system seller either, unfortunately. Metroid Prime, maybe you're going to get the nostalgia, the buyer, like the Metroid Prime when it comes out,
Mhm.
because I'm going to buy that game.
Kirby Air Ride is a great sell.
Yes, I agree with you there. And I think another Mario game would be a good sell. I think Wonder comes out a year later. That's a system seller because that game's freaking amazing.
I think DK could be that, but not at launch. I think maybe around Christmas, DK, like once people get their hands on it, they realize that this is Mario Odyssey, but it's DK. I think once word of mouth starts to spread, I think once people start getting their hands on it, once I just do think that will become a much better seller as we head
Agreed.
into the holidays. I just
Yep.
don't think it'll be that immediately. I think you're right.
But I think also the cost of games are putting people off. And I just look back to the pandemic when we all were like, I can have a PlayStation, I can have an Xbox, we have all these consoles. And it's slowly reverted back to the amount of people that we know that are all just like, I only have I Matt's a different case because he's for But Why though and Console Creatures, he's reviewing and he's got to use all these different consoles. But
Yeah,
there's a lot of people.
I have a problem. That's what it is. I
Yes. But there's a lot of people, including myself, that reverted back to having the two
Mhm,
because I don't think Xbox is needed anymore because you can either play it on a PC or Steam Deck, any of the
mhm.
games, or you can play them on a PlayStation 5 now. I think it's reverting back to the two consoles you need. If you're going to be a console player, is a PlayStation and a Nintendo, and you don't need anything else.
Hmm.
Agreed.
But it's still expensive. And I think it's crazy. And I think you're bang on, Matt, how you said it happened so quickly.
Mhm,
Because we went from the pandemic where it was accessible. Like you can play any game you want. You can have all these streaming services. You can have all these services to play video games. And then within a 2 year span, they were like, gotcha. Where it's almost doubled the price. PlayStation Plus and Xbox Game Pass. Think about it. Xbox Game Pass was $99 3 years ago.
it's gone up like not just like you're 100% right. It's the services, it's the games, the consoles now. They're literally more expensive now than they were at launch when like kicks the traditional, metrics to the curb where you would expect that these things get cheaper over time. No, 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 not anymore. Now you better buy it at launch so it doesn't get more expensive as time goes on.
That's
For
crazy. The Xbox Series X went up in price. I was like in shock.
the highest level Series X is more expensive than a PS5 Pro in Canada.
That makes no sense.
I gotta sell mine now. Gee,
Like that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense.
let's go. Donks.
Honks.
One thing that's confusing to me though is that with the shift to digital and the Xbox not even having like a disc drive, some of them, or at least the one I have, like the game is still the same price when there's no like
Dude, that was one
supply
of
That
that was
chain.
annoys me.
That's wild,
that
dude.
was
You
one
should
of
be getting a 20% discount, but they don't. They want Nana to be looking for whatever game and
uh,
Walmart
that was
or
truly one of like the
GameStop.
greatest lies of the video game space ever. When there was whole thing where we're like, oh, digital starting, oh, digital games are going to probably be less expensive because
Well,
they're no box.
PlayStation
Blah,
did
blah,
have them
blah, blah.
less expensive, remember?
Or yeah,
And I think it was the Walmarts of the world that got mad. Did you
yeah.
not hear about this?
They're
You
not
go
gonna
look
promote their
back.
stuff.
So on the PlayStation 3, I don't know if you remember, during the PlayStation 3, when and this is even when I started buying digital games, they were, I think it was some were 10 and some were $5 cheaper to buy them digitally.
And if you had PlayStation Plus, you got a discount.
Correct. That's where you got the 10. So they
Yep.
were $5 cheaper, but if you had PlayStation Plus, they were $10 cheaper in the store to buy. And then the big box stores, your GameStops, your Walmarts, and your Costco's, because that's a real thing, they got pissed.
Get
And
wrecked.
then all of a sudden, when the PlayStation 4 came out, it disappeared.
Mhm.
It was like a penny, like literally a penny, the difference. I think both of your bang, that is the biggest joke of all the jokes because they now use the excuse that the digital copies are the same because it costs them more to make the physical copies and not as many people are buying them. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You went from it was more people buying physical, so the digital is going to be cheaper to we now have to charge more for the physical. What? There's always a new thing that they can say why they have to charge you because they used to pull out that little wheel and they'd be like this is how much is going to marketing and this is going to this and this and this and
Mhm.
this the
Mhm.
manufacturing. We don't need to manufacture anymore for the game itself. So what?
Especially because how many times is it like you get the disc and it's only like 10% of the actual games on the disc anyway.
Exactly.
Go
So
download
then,
the game,
so
Call of Duty.
I can't even play the game if I'm entirely offline, if I'm some prepper who lives off the grid but still likes my video games, and I go out into the store and buy a disc. I can't even play the game anyway.
And Nintendo is pretty much all but admitted that the only reason they raised the price on the Switch too is because they could,
Yeah,
Mhm.
not
Yeah,
because they needed to, because they could.
I don't like it, but I respect it. Like,
Good old
you know, like, yeah. Yeah, but Bowser, shocker.
They knew they could do it.
What I will say though, and this is like the slightest percentage of a pass that I'd ever give to Nintendo for doing it, at the very least, we know that they reinvest in their developers and in their own business. Their people get pay bumps. They pay their people
True.
well. There isn't a culture of ridiculous crunch. Their people at least are treated well. So even
There's
though
actually no culture of people being fired.
and it's like, and the people when the company does suffer, it's the people at the top who are taking pay cuts, who are losing bonuses, whatever. So at the very infinitesimal of an amount of a thing, at least I can say that, like, because we know it's not Xbox, it's not Phil Spencer getting on stage and bowing and apologizing and taking a pay cut.
Yeah, people
You
go
know,
look it up. Xbox fired a poop
yeah.
ton of people.
So it's like, at the very least, Nintendo, with the money that they're making, is at least going back to the people on the ground who are making these games, so I can at least swallow it a little bit. I don't like it, but at least that little tiny bit makes it go down a little bit easier.
Wow.
So, wow,
I went on a
that
tangent
brings.
there.
I love it.
This is the end. I did a tangent there, but I wanted.
No, this is great.
We
We're right
got to
under.
it, and I was just like, I want, especially because we have listeners that are parents, and
Yeah.
we years ago were like banging the door on Xbox Game Pass on that value. I think you can't afford to have both services. You can only have either Game Pass or PlayStation Plus. You can't have both anymore because they cost too much money.
Yep.
And right now, I think you have to look at the catalog to decide what is the value to. I don't think me telling you right now, for me, I look at the PlayStation Plus and I'm like, that's good value because I got the kids' games. I've got the games I like that are there. Because right now I was debating. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to play Death Stranding 2, but you know what? I might go play. I might go play Metal Gear from all over again. Ground Zero. I might just start it all over again. But I'm like, I know I can't get that on Game Pass, but I know I can get that on PlayStation Plus. And right now, when I look at Game Pass, because of what their acquisition is, they're
At youtube.com/console creatures.
Right. All right. Any final thoughts for the folks?
yeah, whatever's going on with your computer, don't do it again because you were glitching like a mofo, and it was really hilarious. You went on a whole tangent, and Matt and I couldn't understand you, and we just let it go.
I'm dropping frames, so I had to start. Happened. This is why we need
because
Pez.
Something else is happening on your computer right now. What is happening?
I don't know what else is happening. I'm dropping frames. They're hacking. Xbox heard us. They're hacking into my mainframe.
Seriously, it didn't happen to the very end. So yeah, there you go.
It didn't happen until we started talking about Phil Spencer's DDoS in my computer. Not allegedly for illegal purposes. Folks, thank you very much for joining us. Make sure to check us out at youtube.com/that's-in-a-console where typically you can find a good connection. Not this week, but we appreciate Matt joining us. Make sure to go follow him. Tell him the dad sent you, and we'll see you in the next week.